Hello, my name is Arush Shangari, and I'm going to talk about the time when a ship caused a traffic jam at the Suez Canal, which caused a $550 million loss and slowed the global supply chain for nearly a week. The ship was the Ever Given. The Ever Given was approximately 400 meters long. And to put that in perspective, that is nearly as large as the Empire State Building. Because of its size, it had trouble going through straits and canals such as the Suez Canal, which we'll talk about that in a moment. Which brings me to the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is very important and essential to global trade. The Suez Canal is extremely important because it is the shortest possible route from Europe to Asia. And Asia is the hub of producing and shipping goods, specifically China and its neighboring countries. Prior to its construction in 1859, ships had to go around the southern tip of Africa in order to transport goods from one place to another. This method was a lot longer, approximately 3,000 miles longer, which of course led to many food delays, and the journey was much more expensive because it required more fuel. This led to the construction of the Suez Canal. And the reason why they constructed at that time period was because during that time period, the population was growing rapidly and demand increased for food and water and other important resources. So they decided to construct the Suez Canal, which prevented food delays and it made the cost a lot cheaper since it required less fuel. This shows how important the Suez Canal really is, even right now, and how bad it will be without it, since the human population has been is still growing rapidly as to this day. This is a map, the world map of like a good view of the Suez Canal, where it's located and how much faster of a route it is compared to before. The green line represents the route by using the Suez Canal. The red line, however, represents the route by going in a circle from the south tip of Africa. And you can clearly see that the green route is much better than the red route. And it's thousands of miles apart, if you can't tell. And yeah. So Suez Canal is a lot faster, more efficient, and you clearly see that. In the Suez Canal, statistics are very impressive on a daily basis. 12% of the global trade comes through the Suez Canal, which is really impressive. Additionally, 30% of global container ship traffic occurs each day. And that makes sense since 12% of the global trade occurs there. And an average of 52 ships pass through the canal each day. And we're not just talking regular ships. These ships contain $9 billion worth of goods and other important resources. And additionally, the Suez Canal is only 225 meters, and that's the widest point. Most of the time, it's between 150 meters and 200 meters. And that's actually a big problem because there's so many ships out there that are a lot larger than that. In fact, more than double, such as the Ever Given, which is 400 meters long, which we'll talk about that in a moment, more specifically. In the Ever Given, it had could carry 20,000 containers on a daily basis. And yeah. And the Empire State Building is just 43 meters longer than the Ever Given. And the Suez Canal is owned by Egypt, and Egypt is really lucky to have such an important thing because this year alone, the Suez Canal generated over $5 billion, and that's just in a year. Imagine for the last so many years how much money they've made just by the Suez Canal. And of course, there has been many wars just to obtain the Suez Canal, and it's still going on right now. So that's about how important the Suez Canal is and additional information about the Suez Canal. Now let's actually talk about what happened that day. It occurred last March, and it wasn't a really good day. But prior to this incident, the Suez Canal has been closed only twice. But this incident was actually much worse because global trade has been bigger than it has ever been. And the last time the Suez Canal got closed was during a world war. So, yeah. So what happened that day? So the Ever Given was going from Malaysia to Rotterdam in the Netherlands. In order to do this, of course, they had to go through the Suez Canal. And when they're going halfway through the Suez Canal, a sandstorm occurred, a really big and bad sandstorm. And it caused the ship to tilt sideways and block all the other ships from passing through and caused a lot of chaos. So it kept tilting gradually until it was at the point where both sides of the canal was blocked. And the canal was only 200 meters wide, and the ship was 400 meters wide. So it created this like diagonal. It was like diagonal to it, and then it caused all the other ships. And it caused all those 52 ships to be stuck there with billions of dollars worth of goods. And that caused a big problem. And they couldn't turn back because that caused more problems. And the canal was closed for more than 6 days because of this. It caused it changed the global supply chain. And after the incident, the Suez Canal only allows ships that are less than a certain size to prevent such a thing to happen again. And which is a good thing because at least we don't have to worry about such a bad incident to ever happen again. And you couldn't even imagine how bad it was, especially to Europe, because most of the goods are traded from Asia to Europe through the Suez Canal, and they couldn't receive anything for many days. And there were many, and due to that, there's food shortages across Europe, and it was a big outbreak, and it wasn't a good situation, especially for Europe. So it could have gone a lot worse actually if it was longer. But that shows how bad it is. Even just for a few hours, that can cause very bad problems to the entire world because yeah. So hopefully something like this never happens again. And I don't think it will since they changed the restrictions. And yeah, thank you for listening and see you in the next video. Thank you.